Hi, booktube. It's Gina. Happy Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, right? I'm all off kilter because Monday was a holiday. I didn't have to work, and that always throws me off a little bit, which I'm happy about. It's lovely having a 3-day weekend, but it does always put me out of whack a little bit. So I thought I would hop on today and do a little May wrap up. Can you believe May is almost over? Today is the last day of the month. Tomorrow is June 1st, and it is June 1st tomorrow, right? Yes. And I'm excited for summer reading. I've been watching everyone's summer reading plans and June TBRs, and it's started my wheels a turning. There are some June events that I want to participate in. There are some summer events that I want to participate in. So I'm stewing a little bit about that, or noodling about that. And I'll let you know when I decide what I'm going to read. You know, my summer reading will probably be fairly loosey-goosey. I don't think I'll do an official TBR. I'll probably do more of a, pile of options and just a stack of some things that I want to pull from. But I have some ideas. I'm going on vacation June 16th. It is my annual sister trip to Las Vegas. So I'm pretty sure there will be at least one Star Trek book in my vacation pile, because I do love, I've gotten in the habit of reading a Star Trek book at the pool with a cocktail in my hand, and it is delightful. So I've got some fun things coming up. I'll share more with you about that when I decide what I'm going to read for the summer and for June. But I'm looking forward to it. We got our air conditioners installed, the mini splits that I've been talking about for ages. So we will have a very comfortable summer in my house, at least, because I think it's going to be a hot one. So let's jump into what I read in May. I read 6 books. A few of them were for May of the Moderns. I was hoping to read more for May of the Moderns, but I don't know, it's been kind of a weird month. I was feeling a little reading slumpy, but I actually think I'm just a little life slumpy. What, do you feel that way ever? I feel like I'm in a transition period right now. I'm getting older. I have been getting older for a while, as we all are. But I feel like I'm transitioning from, I'm in a transition phase right now to being elderly. Which I'm grateful for, right? But I've been feeling a little discombobulated. So I may talk more about that, but it's kind of thrown my reading off just a little bit. One thing though is what I always do when I'm feeling a little discombobulated is I fall back on one of my old favorites, my beloved Miss Read. So I did read 3 Miss Read books this month. I'm working my way through the Thrush Green series. There are 13 books in the series, and let's see, I've got The Year at Thrush Green, which is number 12, but I'm gonna start next. And then Christmas at Thrush Green is number 13. So 12, 11, 10, 9. So I read these 3, and I love these 3 actually. So let me show you what I read. I'm all over the place today. I read The School at Thrush Green, which centers around 2 of my favorite characters, Little Miss Fogarty and Miss Watson, who are the spinster school teachers who share a house and are trying to think about retiring and maybe moving to the sea. And it's delightful. I love this book. I love this cover. Isn't that cute? So this one really, I mean, they're all mishmashes of a bunch of different characters. It's one of the things that I love about this Thrush Green series so much is you really get to know the characters from the beginning, and most of the characters, you follow through the whole book series, and it's delightful. So this one is good because it focuses on the school teachers, which I love. And then I also read Friends at Thrush Green. Look at that cover. This is the Thrush Green residents hosting a coffee hour, I think, to try and raise money. They're constantly trying to raise money for the church, for the school, for various fundraisers, which is adorable. So this is Friends at Thrush Green. And this one, Miss Watson and Miss Fogarty have moved to the sea, and there's a little it's not a romance, but a little relationship trouble with Miss Watson and her friend Teddy. So I love this one. Such a cute cover. And then I read Celebrations at Thrush Green, which is a little skinnier. This is probably my least favorite. I still love it. I still gave it 4 stars, but it's a little bit less engaging. I find that Miss Reed, I think, as she was getting older, her stories, and this was from 1992, we're losing some of their threads a little bit. Like in this one, it's kind of funny because one of the characters that comes back in this one was a kid in the first book. 20 years have passed. She is now grown up, but another one of the kids that was 6 in the first book is like 14. So some of the threads lose a little bit of their kind of flow through, but it's still wonderful and delightful. And they are celebrating the 100-year celebration of the school and 100 years of Nathaniel Patton, who is their local missionary. So 3 misreads. The 2 books that I read for May of the Moderns are The Fair Misfortune by D.E. Stevenson. Look at that cover. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this one was published in 1938, and this is the beautiful Dean Street Press edition with that gorgeous cover. This one I actually did not, I read this on my Kindle. I bought an edition on my Kindle too. It was on sale at Amazon for, I think, like $1.99, so I did go ahead and buy it. I've talked about this before. I actually really like the font of this, but my friend Ursula told me this is called The Gutter. This is very narrow and very hard to read without cracking the spine. So I'm trying to, maybe I just need to figure out how to open these up a little bit better. So I did read this one on my Kindle, but this is a D. Stevenson who is one of my favorites, a really fun romance about misfortune who comes to live in a small town and creates a little chaos and a little romance. And it's a very sweet story. One of my favorites. I also read very different, the Hopkins manuscript by R.C. Sheriff. This was published in 1939, and this is a beautiful Persephone edition with the beautiful Persephone end papers and a matching bookmark, which I just love. And this was a genre fiction selection for May of the Moderns. I actually was buddy reading this with a friend, and I didn't finish it, so I rolled it over into May of the Moderns. This is a sci-fi novel about the end of the world, and we know that very early on, so it's not a spoiler. The prologue to this is someone finding this manuscript in Notting Hill, and it has been 700 years, and there is that 700-year period it's like another Dark Ages. Nobody knows what happened. There's very little history, so they are piecing together what happened in England in the 1900s because there was a cataclysm. And I won't tell you what it was because it's actually very interesting and it kind of scared me a little bit. I found this very creepy and disturbing. It's definitely dark. R.C. Sheriff's one of my favorite writers. He also wrote Fortnight in September, and one of my favorites last year, the year before, Green Gates, about a retiring couple. And this is very, very different, very dark. It took me a little while to get into it, but I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's very interesting to look back at somebody in 1939's or 38's perspective of what the end of the world would look like. So I really, really enjoyed that. And then lastly, I did read a contemporary book. This is Sally Brady's Italian Adventure, a novel by Christina Lynch. And so this is a contemporary book about it's a sort of a lifelong tale of Sally Brady, who we meet when she is 11. Her parents are shipping her off to California to get a job and help support them. It's in the run up to World War II. And Sally Brady has lots of adventures. She ends up being sort of a secret gossip columnist. And then World War II hits and she gets trapped in Italy and has to make her way. And I really, really enjoyed this too. So this is a contemporary book. I don't read a lot of contemporaries, but this one was right up my alley. Really enjoyed it. So that is what I finished in May. And then I've got two books that I'm currently reading. The first is My Mammoth from March, which is a woman of substance. I have kind of set this down, picked this up, set this down, but I am now back to wholeheartedly reading it. This is my nighttime reading in bed book on my Kindle. I also have this one on my Kindle. I do really love this edition though. And I'm only about, let's see, maybe a quarter of the way through. So this one will probably take me through June. I may even be reading this one on vacation. I'm not sure. I might have finished it by then. And then lastly, I am reading Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, also on my Kindle. This is so good, but so challenging because it is a stream of consciousness, has no chapter breaks, no pauses. It just starts and goes. And I'm really loving it, but it is all over the place. You are in people's heads, you're in one person's head, and then somebody's walking by and you jump into their head, and you really have to focus. So this is not a great just kind of like doze in bed evening book, because you do need to kind of pay attention. But I also feel on some level like you don't have to try and understand every single sentence, because some of it's just very random and stream of consciousness. And we're getting to the story. I'm about halfway through and we're hearing more about Mrs. Dalloway. And but yeah, I'm loving this. I'm hoping I will finish this. I was hoping to finish it this weekend, but I didn't read as much as I was wanting to. So I will hopefully finish this soon. So that's my May. What are you reading? Anything good? What are your summer reading plans? I'm going to start pulling together some ideas, and I'll talk more about my summer reading hopefully soon. But yeah, that's it for me for May. And there's a siren. I don't know if you can hear that. Talk to you later. Bye.